everyone. This is Karen for Online Healing Community. Welcome to Creating Space. And today we're going to talk about why you attract what you are and not what you want. And today with us is Atma Sundar. He is a pranic healer and an arhatic yogi. Let me just introduce him to you for those of you who don't know him, but he's really, really very famous in Malaysia. He's a miracle worker from Atma, from Prana World, an alumni from the World Pranic Healing Foundation, a humble seeker of spiritual truths. Sundar is a certified instructor on pranic healing and a dedicated healer in alleviating the suffering of humanity. And he believes in the infinite potential of the body to manifest happiness, good health, prosperity, and spirituality in abundance. So, friends, please help me welcome Atma Sundar. Hi, Sundar. Welcome to Creating Space.
Atma, namaste. Thank you so much for having me. Really a pleasure being back here. I had such a good time the last time.
We always love it when you're here, and whenever we collaborate with you and with Prana, we really enjoy it. And how are you, Sundar? It's been almost a year since we've met, since we've conversed here on Creating Space.
Yes, my hair hasn't grown in a year, so I'm joking.
I can see that.
But I have a beard now, so things have been good.
Yeah, that's me.
In a year, you see all the seasons, right? Most of the seasons, every festival, every culture, and this year a little bit more special because things have had to forcefully update. We're all at home and we have to find a way to reconnect with the same old cultures and traditions. So it's been very interesting.
Yeah, I've heard something happened to you sometime July, August this year. Are you open to share
Yeah,
about that? And how has it
sure.
affected you? Because we've been monitoring. We've been stalking you on your Instagram pages.
It warms my heart to know I have someone looking out for me. So in late July, early August, basically the whole month, I contracted COVID, and it was quite a severe strain. I somehow I think of myself as a healthy person, but still, getting affected by COVID was not something to be taken lightly. So I managed to make a full recovery, and the recovery process was very humbling. My life in my late 20s, mid to late 20s, and my early 30s was filled with running marathons, climbing mountains, doing strenuous physical activities, no problem, And after COVID, I remember on the recovery when I tested negative, although my body tested negative for the virus, but I remember having a shower. I could not even complete, I was out of breath within that 5 to 10 minutes. That's all I could hold. Then I had to sit down for a while to stop and catch my breath and then continue to shower. It was very humbling that, I would think of myself as a healthy person and I could not even stand up to have a shower, So it taught me a lot about the power of positive mindset, the belief that I can get through this, and I don't have to do it alone. I have friends, other people that are willing to help. And in the same way as I was helped, it changed me that I also want to help others.
And we can see that you've been doing a lot of events lately, and you always mention that in a way, the COVID actually pushed you. I'm not sure if I got it correctly though.
Yes. So, it's because it changed my perspective on life. Last time, it's always been a question at the back of my mind, and I'm sure many of the viewers as well. Sometimes we ask this: what is the purpose of life? So for many years, I've asked myself this question. Like I always ask myself, so what is the point? What is the point of doing this? I'm always thinking about the long term, and it's come to when you distill this and you digest it, it really makes sense, and everything points in the direction of service and helping others. This is really how the world will evolve, and once you spend enough time thinking about it, it's the only logical way forward. So while I've always resonated with this, I think the depth of understanding the word service and helping others sincerely without personal benefit or gain. Because previously I would think, well, it's good to help others, but you must also benefit in some way to make this even transaction. you so even if not monetarily, in some form, both parties should benefit, right? So then after COVID, I was thinking, well, this is true. But sometimes not everybody is in a position to immediately return that favor. So if you just help purely sincerely out of the kindness of your heart, in some way in the future, maybe it comes back to you, maybe it doesn't, but that really does not matter. Because what matters is that if we all do this, the entire world becomes a network of everybody helping everybody. And doesn't matter if it comes back to you or not, because your environment develops, and in some way, that actually helps you also.
Oh my gosh, I'm thinking of the same thing. I'm actually reading a book on sacred economy by Charles Eisenstein, and he's saying that barter is not the first economy. The first economy is actually a gifting economy where we're giving gifts to each other, and it's a circular economy because when somebody gets a gift or receives a gift, there's there in the Philippines we call it utang na loob, but I think it's more of like gratitude that you feel in a way kind of obliged to give something else, but not out of like obligation really, but it's really out of gratitude. And so I agree with you. And sometimes it's not the other person, the person you gave the gift to, who gives the gift back to you. It's somebody else. And I love what you talk about. Like it's like a mesh when you talk about a community and a network of people giving to each other. So it really doesn't matter if it comes back to me as long as I give to that network, and then it's a better place. Oh my gosh, it's like your
Exactly.
brush with them made you more altruistic.
This is true,
Maybe a
yes.
better Sundar. I mean, you're a sunny. Andrea calls you Sunny Sundar already. I was thinking, oh my gosh, you're sunnier. More sunny.
And there's
Oh
more.
my,
There's
you're
more
a
to
better
improve on
person.
from this.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Mamaya ng manggagawang PWD may kakayahan. Basically, that means PWD with ability. He's saying, thank you for sharing your knowledge with us and for facilitating this. You're welcome. So feel free to join this discussion on, okay, let's go to the topic, why you attract what you are and not what you want. And you wrote about this today. You posted on your FB. See, I told you we're stalking you. So you're a really good person, but things are not just going the way you want them to. Sometimes you may even question, why do bad things happen to good people? So we'll ask you your question. Why is it that bad things happen to good people?
Good, good. I like this question. It's something that I've heard a lot in my journey. Less in the present day, but when I was growing up, I've had the good fortune of living, I would say, in many people's shoes. So when I started in a very close knit community where they would think in a certain way. And, just to illustrate a little bit. So for those of you watching or viewing, you can also imagine your lives that for the majority, you would be raised in a certain environment, in a certain culture, and depending how you look like, people would expect certain things or treat you in a certain way. So let's say, for example, in my country, I'm dark skinned and I'm a minority. So, growing up, I always felt a little bit prejudiced because even in the law, in Malaysian law, there is some differences between Muslims and non-Muslims. There are two separate laws. So there are certain benefits awarded to certain parties, and there are certain normal rules for everybody else. So you can see how growing up, this shaped my mind to feel that I was a second-class citizen, right? But when we started, it was like this. Yes, we, I mean me, right? Myself. So when you're thinking about yourself, I want you to think about yourself because this is going to be something that you can take home and change your life today if you wanted to. Okay, so think about yourself. When you're raised in a certain group or certain class of people, you tend to be molded in that way. Or sometimes, most likely, it's about your profession. Engineers always think about building things or fixing things. Artists always think about it's a conversational piece. It's about bringing people together. It's about making a statement. And because the industry is that way, and you become molded by your industry, you start behaving a certain way. And what happens is that without realizing it, there's a lot of subtle cues that we don't put into words, or we don't put into writing that says, okay, you're meant to behave this way. No, we never say that. But we just absorb it from the people around us. We just understand there are unwritten rules. There are certain behavior etiquettes that are just not written. You just grow up and you just learn these things. So when you mix with groups that are not accustomed to your way of thinking, to your way of doing, and then you feel, where is the common sense? Why does this person not know these things? you know, so then within your community, within your circle, your bubble. Sorry, I don't mean to offend anybody, okay? But just within your circle, you would feel that I've heard this personally for me. I've heard this many times. They say, so and so person is such a good person, but I wonder why they are in such a difficult relationship. Or this person is such a good person, but I wonder why the boss promoted the other guy. It sound familiar to some of you? Yeah. This happens a lot. So then we ask ourselves, why do bad things happen to good people? Actually, this person is really good. They're doing so much charity and they are helping, like this, like that. But what you don't understand is that everybody is actually just doing the best that they can. And what happens is that in their mind, they also feel they are very good people. Okay, everybody feels they are doing the best that they can do. So if you have the opportunity to really walk a mile in somebody's shoes, try to understand not only their job, not only their family, their wealth, their position, but try to understand that there are certain behavioral etiquettes, there are certain unwritten rules that this person has grown up with, that they just feel a certain way. See, I've met a certain man in my time before, where this is not uncommon. This man, when he lives at home, he is a very messy person, absolutely messy. The room is worse than a garbage can. And things are everywhere. Even if you wanted to sit down, you would feel, I need to put a piece of paper on the chair before I sit on the chair, because you
Oh
feel
my, is that
uncomfortable.
messy?
It
I don't
is
want to
that
go
bad.
there.
So you see, but when this gentleman, when he would leave his house, you wouldn't know it, because he would be prim and perfect, right? Even if there was a small hole in his gloves, he would buy new gloves. Even if there was a little fading on the leather jacket or anything, he would buy a new jacket. For most of us, if there is a slight tear, or we just try to cover it up and work around it. But looking at him on the outside, you wouldn't have known, right? See, for him, now I'm not trying to put this man down. What I'm saying is that for him, the way he was raised and the culture he was raised, presentation is key. When you present yourself properly, you command respect. You command a certain confidence in the people you're talking to. But he was never raised that cleanliness at home was also a high priority. So he did not put much value on this. So if you saw this person only in one aspect of their lives, you would think, this is a really nice person. Huh? Why is he having so much trouble? you know. Okay, so here is the understanding. So why do bad things happen to good people? Now it is really to do with our perspective. What do you define as good, right? And no bad person is completely bad. Neither is a good person completely good, right? These are the words of my teacher, Master John. So they are not from me. Okay, so he says no bad person is completely bad and no good person is completely good. So if you look into the person a little bit more deeply with a little bit more compassion, you realize everybody is just trying to do the best that they can do. But they're not perfect. Nobody is. We are not perfect. So we are bound to make mistakes. And when we think about bad things, now again, same as a good person, what do you define as good? Bad things, what do you define as bad? Okay. So I think, Karen, you also did mention to me about, we just move on with the next part because, I really
Yeah,
wanted to
we're
explain.
focusing on the good and the bad. But what's coming
Yeah,
out for me in what you've said
yeah,
is that it's really the perspective, it's really the culture, it's really what you've grown into. Also, it's really a lot of the things that happen in your childhood. But it's really the belief system and your perspectives that's
yeah.
really helping you. I'm not sure if I got that correctly.
That's
Is that
true.
the reason why
Yeah,
bad things happen to good people? It's
yeah.
because of their perspective, their beliefs.
Their belief. Yeah. Right. So, when we're talking about this, now what's important and what we're very lucky to have, at least in the past 18 months or so,
Yeah.
is we have more integrated, how to say it, worldwide, right? It's no more like, in Malaysia, and I think in most countries now, we're very multicultural. Very rarely do you find a country that's only one race or one culture. It's almost impossible nowadays. Every country you go to is multicultural, right? So yeah, I think if you're listening to this and you've had some experience growing up before the internet and before video calls, right? You realize that your parents were very single or very monoculture, right? If Filipinos, you would stick to Philippines or a certain subculture in Philippines. In Malaysia, we would be very much with Malaysians, or a subculture in Malaysia, like just the Chinese or just the Malays or just the Indians, like this. Okay. So what happened is that because of their migration, because things were slower, they had to rely on what was familiar, right? And then over time, they integrated with their countrymen, and they started understanding different cultures, different foods. Food always brings us together. So, and different traditions, different celebrations, right? But today, in our generation now, we're taking it another step further, especially with the online technologies, with StreamYard, with Zoom, with Facebook Live, right? We're not only connecting with our country folk, we're actually connecting as a planet globally now, right? The only barrier here is the time difference. That's about it. Okay. But beyond that, we're all really connecting and we're integrating. We're understanding that if you're born in the West, you were watching certain types of cartoons, certain things were funny for you. If you're born in the East or in Philippines, you were watching certain movements or certain comics, and those things would be funny for you, right? So we're understanding world culture now. It's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to integrate. So why are we talking about this, right? The benefit of this is that you have the freedom to broaden your mind to walk in anybody's shoes across the world. You don't have to travel to that country to meet a person to say, this is what you do in your country. You don't have to anymore. You can just meet people online. There's so many online groups having online parties and stuff where you get to meet people, right?
So
And
what
when you
I'm
have,
getting from you, it's
yeah,
it's really the culture. Sometimes it's the perception of society that actually it's the opportunities that's afforded to people. Because I really want to answer this question. Why do bad things happen to good people? And
okay,
you're saying sometimes it's the opportunities. Some people just
yes,
don't have the opportunities that everybody has.
yes,
Like if you grew up as a minority, you'll sometimes the society will see you as a minority forever, and that
yeah,
limits you. So it's not just
yeah,
about you as a person. Sometimes it's the culture and the society that you grew up in, and so that's why you're putting an emphasis on multicultural, like being exposed to a lot of cultures. You're putting an emphasis on
yeah,
being together because in a way that
yeah.
disrupts the limitation. Okay, got it.
Yeah. Yeah, so when you have more exposure, you have a better understanding of yourself and the people around you. And this way, now you can decide what is good and what is bad. You have a
And you
deeper
can question,
understanding.
Right. And you can question the belief system that has been passed on
Hmm.
you. Because a lot of those
Yeah,
things are really programming. Really,
because
because,
actually, yeah,
yeah.
growing up, I realized that what was common in some parts of my culture was actually just wrong.
Can you give us an example?
Okay, so uh, just an example of working culture. No need to go to a global perspective. Just here in my country, in Malaysia, we have very industrious people. Usually not exclusively, but usually they're in the Chinese community where they're very industrious and they're very prosperous. Even their
Here in the Philippines
celebrations are
too.
about prosperity, right?
Here
And
too.
in the where I grew up in the Indian culture, we prioritize family connections and family loyalty. These sorts of things, and spirituality, these sorts of things are higher on the pedestal. Income and work sometimes takes a back seat compared to family needs and family emergencies. So, when I was growing up, this was the idea that I had, that if there was something that my family needed, that would be the priority, right? I've got their back. See, when I started working for multinational corporations, and one of my jobs, I worked with Australians, and another job I had worked, many jobs I had worked with Chinese industrymen, right? Where they felt, if you're not serious about the job, we're not working with you. If your family, they're very political, they're very polite. They would never say, we don't want to work with you. They would just say that if you feel your family is more important, then that's where you should be. But indirectly, you will also not get any business from us. Because we cannot rely on you to do a job. Because every time your baby cries, you might be running home, right? We don't know. So we're like, if we cannot rely on you to do a job, we're not working with you. And that's fair. So I was like, if I really want to be there for my family, the best thing I can do is stay at work. But my family would not see it that way. My family would think, oh, you don't care about us. All you care is about yourself and your career progression. And but that was just wrong. That was just wrong. Because you have to divide your time if you really want to take care of your family. Some problems, you need you need income. If you have no income, you're gonna have bigger problems.
Mm. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Sundar. So, why do we attract what we are and not what we want?
Right. So it's like this. Um, okay. Now, I've attended, before I started talking and sharing about prosperity and financial aspects, I first had to learn it, right? So I had been with many groups of people, and always, because prosperity was one of my weaker aspects, I'll be honest. Financial prosperity was one of my weaker aspects, because like I said, I had a bad attitude towards working ethic, right? So when you have a bad work ethic, money is a problem. So what happened is, I was always improving myself, always trying to develop myself in becoming better. So now I dress better, I converse better, and all these things. But all these are very physical in nature. Some things are energetic in nature, right? So when I started meeting with a lot of people and trying to learn from them, more senior healers, more senior people who are more experienced in wealth, in finances, both physically and energetically, I realized that in the community, there is this understanding that if you want something, you visualize it and you put enough energy into it, and magically it appears, right? Now, this is true to a certain extent.
But I don't believe that.
This is true, uh, but it's a lot of work. Even how they say, work smart, don't work hard, right?
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
true
I
both
think that's how it
physically
works
and
too.
energetically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happens is that, yes, you can make a vision board, you can repeat positive affirmations, and you can do all these things, right? And you can visualize and tell yourself that this is going to happen. It takes a lot of willpower. It takes a lot of effort, a lot of energy, a lot of hard work to actually put that belief forward, because every time you get close and it doesn't work, and this has happened to me personally, where I had a goal of closing a certain deal, a certain business deal, and it came so close. exactly the number that I wished for was exactly on that deal, you know. And I was like, this is it. The universe is giving me what I want. And then the deal didn't go through. And I was like, I'm done with this. I'm leaving pranic healing, and all this is a lie, and I'm upset. This was in 2018. I got
3 years
because
ago.
yeah, so I had the wrong idea about, because you see, when you use a lot of will, you also have to be ready that it is not a linear progression. It is a sinusoidal progression. So sometimes you may not get what you want, but you have to continue using your willpower and a lot of energy work to visualize and envision and materialize your goals. Now, this is why you don't attract what you want, right? Because when you want to attract what you want, there are very few people, I would say few as in like maybe 10% or less, people who understand energy and are able to successfully manifest repeatedly again and again and again, because they fully understand the law. Whereas most people are, it works sometimes, it doesn't work most of the time. Most people are in this category. Because when you try to attract what you want, you, if you're not familiar with how it works, you don't have a clear picture, you don't have a clear intention. So what happens is that your intention, your vision board, is also, how to say, like a little bit colored with some doubt, a little bit colored with some fear. And you might try to use your willpower to erase this and say, no, 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 I'm going to get it, it is mine. And but you know, sometimes there is still that little chipmunk voice at the back saying, but really, can you do it? You know. And then when you know, like for my example, where I had lost the deal that I thought should have been mine, you know, that tends to play, that past trauma tends to repeat in the background. It says, well, you know, you didn't make it the last time, what makes this time different? You know. So sometimes there is that doubt, right? There is that doubt, and you're not pure in your intention. So this is why when you want something, only if you're really, and this is not to make you feel small. I mean, not you, Karen, like everybody, everybody listening, and myself included. It's not meant to make you feel small, like you cannot do it. It's meant to just share with you that when you want to manifest something, you manifest exactly what you put out. So, you know, I hear this funny story. I'll tell you this. This is quite interesting because this is a true story. Yeah? We had a class in Prana World, a physical class, where the facilitator, it wasn't me, it was another lady, she was teaching about vision boards. And she was telling how it works. And in energy healing and pranic healing level 2, we also teach you about certain colors and how certain colors have different properties. So they were teaching all these things and how to properly use a vision board and things like that. And so this girl, she was a nice girl, but she was always running into bad relationships or guys that were not really what she was looking for. So on her vision board, she had a cutout, you know, they brought some old magazines and newspapers, and she wanted a very good looking buff man, you know. That's what she wanted. She really liked this. So she had found it in one of the magazines, and she had made a nice cutout and put it on her vision board. And she kept the vision board in her room, you know, and she did all those visualization techniques. And if you've been for some, you know, manifesting seminars before, you're familiar with these things. So a few weeks later, she had met a very similar, good-looking, handsome man. Very exciting. You know, and she was really having the time of her life. She was really enjoying herself. After the novelty and the initial joy of the excitement had worn off, things started getting a bit more serious, a bit more, you know, she was looking into more the long-term future and things like that. She realized that this handsome man that she had materialized had a drinking problem. So she was wondering, you know, everything is very nice about him, but he just spends too much time at the pub and, you know, she's starting to feel uncomfortable because she wants to move on with the life to the next stage of relationship. It's no longer the pub and the clubs. She wants to make something real. So she realizes he has a drinking problem, and so it's been some months now, and she had forgotten about her vision board. Right, so she had come back to Prana World, and she was talking to this lady who had guided her in making the vision board. She says, "How do I make a new? I don't want to get a new partner. I just want to change him into less of an alcoholic."
Yeah.
So they were going over some things, and this lady asked, "What did you put on the vision board?" And she said, "I have a picture." So she showed the picture, and even to her surprise, she did not notice it before, that the picture she had cut out was an advertisement for a beer commercial.
So she
So
got what she
she
wanted.
got exactly, even though she did not realize it, she was just
Right.
thinking of the guy. She did not notice he was holding a beer in his hand and it was a beer commercial. She she got exactly what she had envisioned, right?
Right. Right.
So you see, the guy that she wanted came with the beer, So
So he got a guy with a beer in real life.
yeah, you see, because there's a lot of subtle cues that sometimes we don't realize. So when you visualize something and you ask for something, sometimes you also have a seed of fear or a seed of doubt, which you may not be aware of, and those things materialize as well. Okay, so this is why you attract who you are. When you want something, or if you really want to manifest something, what you need to do is you need to become that person. You need to become that which you want, and then there will be no fear, no doubt. You will get exactly what it is that you're vibing at. Whatever vibration you're having, that's exactly what you're going to get. Together with the fears, together with the negative qualities and the positive qualities, you're going to get all of it. Exactly, like 100% exact. It would be like that.
Right. I've actually experienced that. Like I've been working on projects before, but I just use my willpower and it's so difficult. And sometimes like you, I don't get the deal even if I put everything on the table. But sometimes when I just become that person, like when you visualize when because I was thinking when you become the person who's ready to receive, like if you become the person who's powerful enough to hold that space, then when you become that, then the deals come. But for people who haven't experienced that, how do you become that? Because you talk about becoming, you're saying that if you really want, Ai is a very good oracle. So this is what you wrote. You said that if you really want to manifest, you become exactly what you want to manifest, and you will attract exactly that. How do you become that? You don't have it yet.
Okay,
How
good
do you
question.
become something you haven't really touched yet or received yet?
Okay, let's start this off to just prove the point a little bit, right? And then you'll know how to develop yourself to get what you want. Okay, so firstly, some people say, how come it's 100% exact, or how do you know it's even happening? Well, this is a very common story where you hear people complaining about the same thing again and again and again. You've heard this, people complain about their boss, they change job, same complaint, they said this boss also, and then they change the job and they again, it's like, how come every time you're so unlucky at work? Or, some people complain about relationships. So I'm just picking on these two because they're very broad categories and very general categories. But you may notice it for other aspects of your life. You may feel, how come every house I move into, I always have very bad neighbors or bad roommates? Right? You notice when people complain, but when things go well, people never take note of it, right? The reverse is very rare. You never say, how come I'm always so lucky that I always have food on my table? Exactly what I ordered is exactly what came. The waiter did not mess it up, right? And this happens every day. How amazing, you know?
You don't touch on that.
Yeah. So that's exactly it. It's about your perspective. When you want something, when you want to, and you want to become that, then you have to start thinking, what would it be like if I had this? What would I do with my life? How would I change? How would I be different? And start doing that already, you know. So understand that it works like this. First, you start doing, and then you will become empowered to do more. But you have to put in the work first. That's the law. That's how it works. It's like this, right? If you want a fire, if you want to build a fire, you cannot say, I will wait for the fire to come. You have to do the work and put the logs there. You have to put the wood and light the wood, right? And then you have a fire, and then once you have a fire, it's easier to make a bigger fire, right? But when you have no fire, you cannot just sit there and say, okay, I will wait for it and then I will put the wood. No, it doesn't work like this. You always have to do the wood first. You have to go out there, you have to chop wood, you have to dry the wood, you have to burn the leaves and then burn the wood. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work before you get your fire. You cannot say, until I get the fire, I'm not going to chop wood. It doesn't work that way. Okay, so when we're talking about manifesting something that you want, right? Let's say, have you heard this saying that you should dress for the job that you want? You should dress for the position that you're aiming for, right? It's like that. So let's say, for example, you would like, let's pick a simple number. Let's say you're earning 20,000 peso, right? And you want to earn, in maybe double that. Say maybe you want to earn 40,000 peso. Now, immediately, most people would think, okay, if I have 40,000 peso, oh, I would buy this and I would buy that. And Sundar said I should live my life like that already. So, you take out all your savings and you go spend it. And that's, what happens.
Oh no.
Yeah, it does not work like this, okay? You have, remember what we said, you attract 100% everything, right? So when you're pulling out your savings and you're spending things that you haven't actually earned, you're actually looking at the spending part, which is good. You might be able to spend a lot, but you haven't figured out the earning part, right? So you said, yes, I earned 20,000 peso. Now I want to earn 40, right? You did not put any effort into the earning the 40 part. You only put the effort in spending the 40. Make sense? Right? So you have to do all of it, right? You cannot just do the reward and not do the work. So when you think about earning the 40,000 peso, now if you work a 9 to 5 job, that's 8 hours a day for 5 days, and you earn 20,000, how would you earn 40,000? The simple answer would be to work 16 hours a day, right? So if you're doing 40-hour weeks, you're now doing 80-hour weeks. But that's very taxing on the body, right? And that's very taxing on your personal life as well. So now you have to start thinking, if I wanted to earn this amount, what would I be willing to, how would I be willing to reorganize my life and start doing that right now, right? Start thinking that if I think of all aspects, right? So if you're working a 40-hour week and usually in the evenings you would take a break, now you have to, maybe say, okay, I don't have my 4-hour leisure time in the evenings anymore. Now that 4 hours, I'm going to work. So if I'm going to work, that means I don't actually have time to spend the money. So if you're earning 40,000 pesos, you actually don't have the time to spend the 40,000 pesos. So you have to start thinking, then what would I do? What would I do with the 40,000? Maybe you would like to invest for the future, or maybe you would like to invest so that you wouldn't have to work as hard so long. Maybe you just do this for 5 years, and then you have some investment and you can come back to your 40-hour weeks, right? Something like that. So you have to think of every aspect and start living that life. Now, it's hard to think of everything up front, so you just go along, right? You just say, okay, if I'm already trying to work more, then I'm just going to clock in more hours anyway. Although at the moment my salary is still 20,000, but if my salary is 20,000, I'm just going to work more hours. I might get promoted, and then in the promotion I might get a 40. If I don't get promoted, I may just become accustomed to working more hours. I might be able to handle a second job, or I might be able to make my hobby into a money-making hobby, something like this, right?
Got it. It's very clear, Sundar. what you're saying is you begin with the end in mind. What is it exact? What's exactly the end result for you? You do the
Mm.
work and then you fill it in. Like you act as you also while you're doing that, where you're doing the work towards the end goal, you kind of feel
Yeah,
you kind of act like you have that already
yeah,
while you're doing the work, and so it
yeah.
helps. Yeah, everything
And
comes
you
together.
have to. So it's not just about. So we talked about the physical aspects, right?
Right,
So
right.
the energetic aspects as well. You also have to become that. You see, there was a transition. I think for most people, there is a transition from boyhood to manhood, and there is a transition from girlhood to womanhood, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where people don't see you as a child or a teenager or a young woman anymore. They see you as an established person, right? Who is, headed in a certain direction, has certain core values and beliefs. There is a transition. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens over a period of time. It's the same from boyhood to manhood. There is a certain transition to this, right? So I remember when I was transitioning, one of the things I felt very uncomfortable is that when people called me Mr. Sundar, or when people called me sir, and I'll be like, oh no no no. I was like, no no, I'm not a sir. I'm just I'm just call me Sundar. That's cool. And it took me some time to accept that this person actually looks up to me, and it's a sign of salutation that they're calling me Mr. Sundar because they really appreciate my time, and you have to grow into that position as well. So one thing is just saying that okay, physical aspects, you can dress better, you can work longer, you can buy more gifts for your loved one, all that physical aspect. Energetically, your thoughts have to change, your emotions have to change to become that which you want.
Yeah, I love what you said. Grow into that person
Hmm.
and then change
And
your
then you'll
thought.
notice that life just moves for you. You don't have to put so much effort into it. So once you do this and then you apply the visualization, the vision board, you notice that very little effort required. It almost comes like you just think of it and it materializes now, like so little effort
But I
because you've
think
already
because
changed yourself.
yes, and also a part of you feels that you deserve it. So you're not in a way what do you call this? Sabotaging yourself. Because most of the time you're the one sabotaging yourself. You don't get what you want because like you said, you doubt yourself and you're the one blocking.
Yeah.
Yep, Rhea is joining us, and she said, "Yeah, wow, change energetically, exactly. Grow into what you
Yeah.
want to become." And I love that. Change your thoughts, change your mind, and you actually have a class where you can help us because I've been attending your class on financial healing, and that's what you do, right? You teach people how to grow into themselves.
Yes.
I'll I'm looking for how I can flash it. But can you tell us about that? Because Sundar has a class on there I found it. You have a class on financial healing. Yeah.
Yes.
And in this class you're mentioning about you're talking about clearing mental and energetic blocks, building energetic foundation to attract abundance and all these things about chakras. Can you tell us more about this?
Sure, sure. So we usually start the session with a short meditation. And then after the meditation, we proceed with a healing where we target certain chakras in the body. Now, if you're not familiar with chakras, they're basically energetic centers in your body that control certain functions of your body, physically, emotionally, and psychologically. Also spiritually, but a little less on that. Okay. So what we do is that when we talk about an energetic shift, about growing into what you want to become, sometimes there is past trauma. Like for myself, there was a lot of past trauma. Sometimes just from failed experiences, sometimes because somebody had told you it cannot be done, or just because they tell you, well, this is not the US, or this is not, so and so city, and it does not work here. You know, sometimes limiting beliefs are put into you. So when we look at this energetically, in the chakras, they look like little blockages. So if you imagine a hose, a garden hose, where water is flowing through, these blockages, they're like little stones in the hose. So what happens is that the water still flows, but very, very slow. So what we do is we try to remove all these blockages in your chakras, and this will help you to manifest what you want a lot faster, a lot quicker. We focus more on the financial aspects.
And there are certain chakras that you focus on, right? Can you
Yes,
share
yes.
with us what the chakras that you focus on and why exactly? Why do you focus on those chakras? If you can, because I know there are certain things that you can't share
Yes.
because it's
Okay,
like
so
copyrighted to pranic healing.
yes. Not so much about the copyrights, but it's more that if you learned it in bits and pieces, you will be misguided. Like a lot of people who Google information on on the spiritual world or on the inner experiences, you get misguided very easily because everybody has an opinion and not everybody is correct. So the reason why we don't share things just loosely is because we want you to have a proper path to understanding what it is you're trying to discover. So we guide you in the courses. So, but anyway, I will share with you what is makes sense, right, for this session. So we target specific chakras. Now the body is it's easier if you imagine it like a machine, just a physical aspect. I'm not saying everything. Okay, the physical and certain energetic aspects of the body is just like a vehicle, right? So if a vehicle requires a certain power source to operate, now certain power sources does certain things. Certain functions are operated by certain control centers, right? So even like in your car, you would pump petrol to run the engine, but to run the radio, you need electricity. You see, electricity is a finer form of energy, right? So the engine converts the gasoline or the petrol into electrical energy. And and then you have other functions that converts it into cold air, like you have your aircon and things like that. So different functions need different chakras. Similarly, in the body, um, certain of the lower chakras, so when we say lower, it doesn't mean they're bad. It just means their position on the body. So on the position of the body, the lower chakras are more in tune with raw energy that help with the physical growth and the physical prosperity, right? Some chakras in the center region of the body is more attuned to emotions. So sometimes you see people who are very, very hardworking, but they are very bitter. And then you feel this person is so hardworking. They work 16 hours a day. But how come they are not prosperous? Because nobody wants to work with them. They are so bitter. So, because of the lack of compassion, because of their past trauma, because of their injury in the past, they continue to be a certain way. You cannot attract prosperity. Right? Some people, they are very loving, very hardworking, but you also wonder how come this person is not prosperous. Then you think, because you see this person sometimes is a little bit lazy to make a plan for the future. Yes, they are very nice, they are very hardworking, but no planning, no budgeting. So they have money, they spend all their money. They never think I should save maybe a little bit for investment, for buying a bigger house. They're just working every day and just helping everyone, but they never help. They never plan for bigger things, right? So depending on which chakras for everybody, it's slightly different. Depending on where the energetic blocks are, we are targeting this chakra specifically. Now, the functions of the chakras specifically, I would recommend you take a course on pranic healing, or whatever you feel might help you. I would recommend pranic healing because it's very clear what chakra does what and how to heal it. So yeah. Otherwise, if you come for the session on Friday, we will do the healing for you, and you get to relax.
Can you tell us how the healing goes? Just a general description for people who are new to pranic healing.
Okay. Cool. Yes, I understand that some people here might be first time hearing about energy healing and, financial. Well, we cannot say healing your wallet. It doesn't make sense. Like, but healing your financial position, your prosperity. So when you have the right attitude towards prosperity, towards finances, you will start to attract this also to yourself. So how the healing works is that first we do cleansing, we remove the negative ideas. Now, when we say this, it is not a magic therapy. It's not like tomorrow you're going to have gold bars dropping from the ceiling. It's not like this. It's more that removing layer by layer, like an onion, layer by layer of the negative ideas, the wrong idea. It takes time. It takes time for the body and the mind to let go of what is past and to input what is right. So when you start to correct yourself and remove certain ancient seeds that were just not true, maybe they were true at some point, but they're not true today. When you start letting go of these things, you realize that you have the correct idea, the correct perspective, and it's easier to move forward. It's easier to be more efficient with your time. And talking specifically about finances, you're trading your time and your expertise for money. That's what you're doing. So if you're highly efficient in this transfer, how much can you do in a short period of time to produce the same amount of financial result, financial gain, right? So you have to start thinking, it's hard to say specifically for one person because there are many people watching this. So let's just broaden the category into three categories, right? You have the lower income, so below average income, where we would consider this as the poorer community, where they would feel like it's always somebody to blame that they are not doing well, right? So they would say, because the government has two separate, previously in my position, I would say, the government has two separate set of laws. One group of people have higher interest rate in the bank, another group of people have a lower interest rate in the bank. Well, that is just the way it is, right? It's easy to blame other people. This is a poor man's mentality, okay? And then let's say we have average income or the slightly above average income, right? You have this category, which is most of the working class. Now, these people, they see money as a commodity where, sorry, not a commodity. They see money as, as a pay packet. So you get this in the beginning of the month or the end of the month, and then you have to budget the month, budget the week. And at the end of the week, end of the month, you wait until the next one and the next one and the next one, and some months you're a bit low, some months you're a little bit, hopefully you're a little bit high, and, you try to make it, month to month, right? And these people work very, very hard, don't see much for their efforts, right? They only see a life that they paid for month to month. Okay, so then you have the other category, one more category, which is the high income earners. Now, it's easy to just say this in broad strokes, but you have to change your mind to become a high income earner. What happens is they see money as a commodity. Money is something to be traded. You can change the form of money. Money is just a tool, right? Money is just concretized energy. There is just like how you breathe in air and you breathe out air. There is an infinite, abundant amount of air. You don't have to worry, right? You just, if you're feeling a little bit suffocated, just go to some trees and you'll be fine, right? So when you start seeing money in that way, money is just an infinite, abundant source of energy that's just concretized temporarily into your keeping. Then you start seeing money as, well, if we want more, then we just have to go closer to a money tree and just inhale a little bit more, right? So what happens is that you start seeing money as something to be traded, or something. You don't start seeing it as, this is what I use to pay my bills. This is what I use for my future education. You don't start attaching this emotion to it. Yes, it's true. All these things will happen. But you have to start seeing it in a very different aspect, where your work in a daily job is something that you do that is just, your expertise, something that you're doing to advertise yourself. You're not working for money anymore, right? You're there because that's where you're established in your career. That's where people know how to find you. And when people know how to find you, that's where your income, your energy is flowing, right? That's where it comes in and that's where it goes out. So you're actually not sitting there to work for money anymore. You're sitting there more as an advertisement. This is where you find me. So like you see a lot of established people in their industries. Very rarely do they actually need you to pay them for their services. They're more there like you would see them as pranic healing masters. Right? I'm not saying anything about the masters, okay, but I'm not insinuating anything. But or you would see them as financial gurus, or you would see them as guitar experts or musician experts, right? Now, let's just take this musician one. I know a man who, in Malaysia, he's very famous for repairing guitars, right? Now, he doesn't actually need the money, but that's where people know to find him. They go to him about the guitars, and that's his source of business, right? But he doesn't actually need the money, But if he did something else, if he said, okay, now I'm a real estate mogul, nobody will know that, this guy is now in real estate. Nobody will know. They won't know how to, new customers won't know how to find him. So you have to, first you have to understand the lower income. And then if you're already past that, you understand the average to above average income. And once you pass that, you get into the higher income. Now, we don't really discuss this in the financial healing sessions. In the financial healing sessions, we focus more on the healing. And you will find your way eventually, because the road to high income earners is not a cookie cutter solution. It's not something you learn from a book and you make it. It's something very personal to each individual. So you're going to have to find this way yourself. Right? But it's very possible to get guidance from people who've already made it there.
I completely agree. You have your own way towards that goal. But I think the key is, and what's true for everybody, is you have to shift. Like you mentioned, that it's really about a shift in your mindset. And when you're able to do that, then you can just like jump from one income bracket to another.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Sundar. It's almost an hour. It's like we've just started, really. Oh, and the others
So
didn't get to ask questions. But you know what? You just go to the financial healing. It's really, really fun. I've been there. What I like about it is it's very holistic. There's an exercise. You begin with an exercise, which I think prepares you for the meditation, and then the meditation prepares you for the healing. So it's really perfect. And after that, you're ready for work. So because it happens every Mondays and Fridays, 7:30 to 8:30. So just go there. You have your gym, you have your meditation, you have your healing, and then you're ready for the day. So I would really,
in the
really
morning.
highly.
Yeah.
Yes, in the morning, 7:30 to 8:30 in the morning. And Malaysia time
Yeah.
is the same as Philippine time. So basically same. Ayan.
Yeah.
There are wonderful testimonials from those who joined. Share one. No, Marielle, Andrea, you share yours. It was really Andrea who really said, you have to go there, you have to go there. She was telling me now, it really worked for me. It really worked for me. So I think, and she closed a deal. I think she closed the deal that she wanted. I'm giving Andrea's story. And she said, and you know what? I'm attributing it to Sundar's healing class and attending that healing session. That's why I was able to use that. So I'm
It is
telling
also your hard work. Yeah, it is also, 90% you, 10% help from other people. So, but I will actually thank you for bringing that up. Just this week, I had two people contact me and tell me some very, very big news in their life. So the first one was one of our participants. She's been joining us for the last 3 or 4 months already, very regular, Mondays and Fridays. And she's a very silent person. She doesn't talk too much or share too much. So I never knew that she was benefiting from this. And just yesterday or day before, it was 2 days ago. 2 days ago, she messaged me to tell me that, Sundar, I just wanted to give you a very big thank you note that after attending the sessions, I've got my dream job in China, and I'm making a move. So I'm keeping it quiet, but I'm just letting the people who've been a big support and a big help on this journey. I just want to thank you guys and let you guys know that I appreciate all the help, and especially the financial healing sessions. We did a prosperity seminar as well, and she said she had learned so much from those things, where she feels if this happens so quickly in the space of 3 to 4 months, because of the things that she had learned and the healing that she received in those sessions. And the second one was another lady who is who does a lot of healing as well. And she's found it easier to attract better clients, and she's found it easier to attract a more steady source of income, and also to let go of the ones that are not helping, that require too much time but not really helping her business. So she also is having a much easier time in her life now, and she's a little bit more free, more relaxed. So she also gave me a thank you just this morning. Yeah.
And that's
And
what
yeah.
I think that's what money affords you. More freedom,
Yeah.
and you're more relaxed. You don't have to like go, like you said, if you're middle income, you really go month by month, and sometimes you're not sure if I'm not sure if I'll survive this month. So there's
Yeah.
that. So I think if you have more resources, then you're more you have more freedom and you're more relaxed. It's not really just the money. It affords you more options. Yeah. And usually, Sundar, we end the session like always with a short reflection or meditation. So if you can please lead us.
Okay. Cool. Uh, right. So since we're talking about prosperity and finances, well, I can't see the viewers, but would you like to do a meditation and something more inclined with this? Yes. Okay.
Yes. I'm answering for them, so yes.
Okay. Okay.
It's like very
So
quiet
let's do this.
today.
Yeah. Okay. So let's do this. I want you to center yourself. Just relax. We're just going to bring ourselves to our present moment, and then we're going to meditate a little bit to try and remove the old ideas and input some good new ideas. Okay. Okay. Just relax. Just exhale and inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Inhale. Hold. Now just continue on your own. Just exhale and inhale naturally. I want you to let your body relax. Okay, just loosen your shoulders, loosen your back, your legs, right? Just relax, just let go. Now also for your emotions and your thoughts, just remember the day is almost over. Just let go of these emotions. Whatever has happened throughout the day, you have tomorrow to sort them out. For now, just relax. And so with your thoughts. If you're thinking about something, if you're trying to digest certain events or certain knowledge, just put them aside for now. Just empty your mind. Just let go. Exhale and inhale. Exhale and inhale. Very good. Okay. So just focus on your heart, the center of your chest. And I want you to think of a happy moment, right? Just think of something that brings you lots of joy, a big smile on your face. It may be your children. It may be a promotion at work. It may be straight A's in school. It may be just the fact that you see birds in the morning, or you see the sun and you feel the sun touch your face. It brings a smile, right? So just think of something really beautiful in your life. Just smile to your heart and just be aware. Just let that energy flow into your heart, into your entire body. Imagine this love, this joy, just filling up every cell in your body, radiating from your heart into every part of your body, every cell, every muscle, every limb, every bone in your body. It's all being filled with love, with joy, with happiness, ecstasy, and bliss. Okay, so now I just want you to put your hands in front of your heart in a blessing position. So just imagine the whole earth in front of you like a small tennis ball. Imagine this soothing, healing energy from your heart going into your hands, in and down into the earth, the entire earth, to the Supreme God, to all the great, great ones, personally to my beloved teacher, Master Chakras, and to all the holy angels, all the archangels, healing angels, and prosperity and protection angels. We thank you for your many, many priceless blessings. Thank you for your divine guidance, help, and protection in my life. Thank you for being there for me even when I know not that you are. And we humbly invoke for your divine blessings to bless the entire earth, to bless every person, every being. So just gently feel this soothing, loving energy going from your heart to your hands to the entire earth, blessing the entire earth with love, with peace, with understanding. Just imagine people who have been hurt before, that they are letting go of the past events. They are embracing forgiveness, they're embracing their friend, they're embracing the people that they have had difficulties with in the past. So just imagine this. Imagine the world coming together in peace and harmony and unity, in the spirit of reconciliation. May every person, every being on earth be blessed with so much happiness, with good health, with prosperity, success, and abundance. Now just be aware of the top of your head, of your crown. And the crown is the center for unconditional love. Right? So just imagine this energy from your crown coming from the higher beings into your crown, into your hands, and into the entire earth. May every person, every being on earth be blessed with so much love and joy, with compassion, with mercy, with tenderness and sweetness, with prosperity, with abundance, with success, with spirituality and illumination. So just think of your families, right? Okay, let's do this. I want you to put your hands down. Just put your hands down on your lap. We're going to do a short meditation on prosperity, okay? So now that you're feeling a lot of love and compassion in your body, okay, we're going to share this on a physical level, on a financial level. So I want you to imagine that you are in a town, in your town, and you're walking on the streets. You have some money in your pocket. Now, as you walk down the street, you notice somebody needing help. Somebody sitting on a street corner. It may be a person, it may be a dog, anything. It may be somebody that needs help, maybe a bird, right? You take some money out of your pocket, you give it to this person, or you take some money out of your pocket, you buy some food for this injured animal. And as you give and you share, you're feeling a sense of goodness in you. So you keep on walking, and further down the street, you notice that under a piece of newspaper, there is some money that somebody had dropped, right? And now you look around, and there is nobody to be seen. So you just take this, and you keep it with you for a while. And you continue your journey, you're walking, and you're walking. You've reached the edge of your town, right? And you notice that there is a field. It opens into a meadow or a park. And you continue moving into here, and here you see a family has taken refuge. They are actually seeking shelter under a tree in this park. So the money that you found earlier, you feel, well, you know, this could be better served to help others. So you share some of these findings that you have, you share it with them, and you bless them to also have a more generous, a more prosperous life, a more abundant life. As you keep walking through the park, you notice that you find a small bag of money. It was just lying there. Somebody must have tried to bury it, but they were not successful, and they had left it half done. So this bag of money, you just keep it with you temporarily. Okay. And maybe if you find the owner, you can return it. But for now, it doesn't serve any purpose being in the ground. So you just keep it with you. And you keep moving through the park. You come to a forest. And in this forest, you notice that there is a rundown school, just trying to help kids that are underprivileged, trying to bring knowledge and technology to the less privileged parts of your city, of your country. So you notice that this school could use this money in a much better fashion. They are doing some good work, so nobody owns this money anyway. So, better we give it to them and let them, spread the good work that they are already doing. You help them build better walls, better roofs, better technology for their schools. Okay. And again, you feel this sense of goodness and calmness within you. Not only are you becoming more prosperous, but you're also helping so many more people along the way. Now you keep moving, and there are some rugged edges of the mountain. As you notice, at the top of the mountain, there is a temple and there's some schools, and you're headed in that direction, towards a monastery or a temple at the top of the mountain. So along your way in the mountain, you find some treasure from the earth, some gems, some crystals that are highly valuable. And this time they may be too much to carry. So you see some people who are also around you, and you ask them to help you. Right? You said, you tell them that there is a chest of treasure here in the ground. Let us all carry it together. Right? So everybody is happy to share in the joy of prosperity. And together as a group, all of you become more prosperous. All of you are headed in the same direction. And you're heading up, up, up in the mountains towards this monastery, towards this temple or the mosque, this holy grounds, right? And as you get there, you notice that the people here are also struggling. The people here also need help. What a coincidence that you have the ability to help. So this chest of treasure that you found and the people that you found along the way, you settle here for a little while, and you help them also to become more prosperous, more abundant. And you notice that this is actually the journey of life. As you give and share abundantly, you will also be blessed with abundance. So I want you to inhale. Just inhale all these blessings, and exhale. Share this with your family. Inhale, inhale all the blessings. Exhale, exhale, share this with your friends, with your loved ones. Inhale, inhale all the blessings. And exhale, share this with the entire world. May every person, every being be prosperous, be successful and abundant. With the wisdom of my teacher, Master Tra, as we give and share abundantly, so may our lives be blessed with great abundance. Okay. To the Supreme God, to all the great beings, we thank you for these blessings. To all the great, great ones, thank you. With gratitude, respect, and love, and in full faith, thank you. This meditation, it was inspired by Master Ko, one of the disciples of Master Tra. So I like to credit him for teaching me this also. And yes, come back to your body. You can open your eyes with a big, big smile. Okay, so how do you feel?
It's really automatic. After that meditation, you'll really just smile. And thank you for for finding that out. It's really when you give abundantly and life gives it back to you. Energy flows. You actually eventually receive what you get, what you give out. And really, as Sundar, I would really love to acknowledge you because thank you so much because you're one of the most generous people I know. Even when we really don't know you, even the first time I met you, I really don't know you were always been giving, and now you're more altruistic than ever. Thank you so much for the gift of you. Thank you for sharing so generously with the world. Really, thank you. And you know what? I would like to invite everybody again. You should really go to the financial healing of Sundar. You'll be doing this until January. Andrea mentioned. Well, I sorry, not January. You'll be doing the healing until December. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
So we'd like to invite you. This is going to be every Monday and Friday. So that's 7:30 to 8:30 a.m. And it's going to be what Sundar mentioned at the start. It's going to be a worldwide network because he'll be joining us from Malaysia, and a lot of people from Malaysia are coming over, and people from the Philippines will be coming over. If you're from other parts of the world, we'd love to have you. And I love it because you're building a community of people who are really opening up to abundance and prosperity. And like your story, when we just have more, then we have more to give. So thank you so much, Sundar. So final words for everybody watching and joining us right now.
Um, I would like to share with you that when I started this journey, uh, most welcome, Andrea. Thank you. Thank you, Marie. Thank you, Rhea. Thank you, Jaget. Everybody, thank you. So I'd just like to share with you that when I started this journey, the reason I had spent so much time and effort into developing the prosperity and the financial aspects of my life is because I did not start on a very amazing start. I wasn't born in a wealthy family. I wasn't born with the right ideas about work. I wasn't taught the right things. In fact, I was taught the wrong things in life. So, you know, it's not hard. It's not difficult to change yourself. All you have to do is just put in the work, put in the effort into developing yourself. The finances, the material prosperity will be a byproduct of your self-development. So even for somebody like me who has had a very tough time in starting my journey, believe me, it is possible. It is possible. And if you already have a steady job, which I didn't have, or if you have some sort of savings, which also I didn't have in the start, you're already one step ahead, or two or three steps ahead. So the journey is a lot easier for you. You can really make a huge change for your life. And I would advise you that, not to stop there and continue making bigger and bigger progresses in your life.
Thank you so much, Sundar. I don't know, people just woke up right now. People are just messaging now. Shirley saying, a million thanks. Francis Miguel, thank you. Marielle, Andrea, thank you. Sunny Sundar. And they're echoing what you're saying. They're just so happy. So you can see more of Sundar and you'll learn from him. He can be your mentor too. So join us every Fridays and Mondays, 7:30 to 8:30 a.m. You'll hear more from him. And we don't want to take so much of your time. We've overextended already, Sundar. But thank you so much for the gift. And I will see you soon. I'll be in your class this Friday. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.